Okay, so if you're a creator, you know this feeling, right? That income roller coaster. One month is great, the next, not so much. It can feel totally unpredictable, completely out of your hands. But what if you could actually change that? What if you could build something like a machine that brings in steady, predictable revenue every single month? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's dive into the blueprint for that machine right now. So, the big question is there some kind of magic formula for this? A simple equation that just works? One that can take all the guesswork out of your earnings and put you in control? Well, you might be surprised, but the answer is yeah, there is. And it's actually way more straightforward than you'd think.
And here it is. This is it. This is the entire engine in one simple line. Community, that's C, times price, that's P, equals your revenue. Seriously, that's the whole thing. And it's so powerful because it gives you two and only two levers to pull. You can focus on growing your community, or you can adjust your price. Every single thing we're going to talk about today comes back to mastering one or both of these two things.
So let's start with that first lever, C for community. You've got to think of this as the engine of your machine. I mean, without a community of people who are willing to support you, the machine just doesn't turn on. It all starts with your people. So, how do we get this engine fired up and keep it running smoothly?
Well, you've got to put fuel in the engine, right? And that fuel is acquisition, getting new members. You start by putting out great, free, top-of-funnel content that gets people interested. Then you need really clear calls to action that make it easy for them to become paying members. And then you can hit the accelerator with member referrals, where your biggest fans bring their friends into the community.
But here's where things get really interesting. Getting new members feels great, it's exciting, but it's not actually the most important part of the puzzle, not even close. The real secret, the absolute key to making this machine last, is keeping the members you've already got. In other words, retention. And I love this comparison because it makes it so clear. Acquisition, that's you constantly pouring fuel into the engine. But retention, that's about fixing the leaks. See, if you have members canceling every month, that's called churn. It's like having a giant hole in your fuel tank. You can pour and pour and pour, but you're not going anywhere. So priority number one, before you do anything else, is to fix those leaks. Okay, so our engine is running and the leaks are plugged. Let's talk about that second lever, P for price. But I don't want you to think of this as just a price tag. It's more like a dial that you have to tune perfectly. And what are you tuning it to? You're tuning it to the value you're providing. And this is absolutely critical. The price isn't what you think it's worth. It's about the perceived value from your members' point of view. It's what they believe your content, your community, and your access is worth to them. You see, if your price is too high for the value they feel they're getting, they won't join. But if it's too low, you're leaving money on the table. It's all about finding that perfect balance where price and value feel totally aligned. So, how do you even begin to figure that out? Well, we can break it down into roughly 3 levels of value. Down at the bottom, you have what's called commodity value. Think general access, maybe a group chat. That's usually in the $5 to $15 a month range. Then you can step it up to curated value. We're talking exclusive content, workshops, that kind of thing. Now you're in the $20 to $50 range. And at the very top, you have personal access value. This is direct one-on-one time with you, and that commands a real premium. We're talking $75, $150, or even way more. And this idea leads perfectly to a really smart strategy, tiered pricing. You can set up a bronze tier for basic access to bring in a lot of people at a low price. Then a silver tier with more good stuff for your core community. And finally, a gold tier with VIP perks and personal access for a smaller group of your most dedicated fans. This way you have an option for everyone and you maximize your income potential. Okay, so we've got our 2 levers, community and price. Now for the fun part. Let's put some actual numbers to this thing and see how this machine works in the real world. This is where it all starts to click. Let's imagine a goal, a big one, $25,000 a month. Sounds like a lot, right? Well, here's one way to get there. This is what we could call the mid-level creator path. You get 1,000 true fans to pay you $25 a month. That's it, 1,000 people. And $25 is a totally reasonable price for really good curated value. But wait, check this out. We can get to that exact same 25 grand a month in a totally different way. This is the niche specialist path. Instead of going wide, you go deep. You provide massive value to a smaller group, just 250 people, but they each pay $100 a month. This just proves there's no single right way to do this.
It's all about what model fits you and your audience.
And this table really just blows the doors off the possibilities. You can see how the math plays out at every level. You can start with 100 members at $5 and make a nice little side income. Or you can scale it up to thousands of members and build a massive business. The formula is the same. The only thing that changes are the numbers you plug into it.
All right, seeing those big numbers is awesome. $250,000 a month? Yes, please. But hold on. Before we start spending that money in our heads, we need a quick reality check. Because the number the machine generates, that's your gross revenue, is not the number that actually hits your bank account. Every machine has costs. And you have to burn this into your brain. It's probably the biggest mistake new creators make. They see the gross revenue and think it's all theirs, but nope. There are mandatory deductions and operational costs that have to come out first.
This chart breaks it down perfectly. So right off the top, you've got platform fees. Whatever service you're using takes a cut, maybe 5 to 12%. Then comes the big one, taxes. You have to set aside a big chunk for that, probably somewhere between 20 and 40%. And don't forget your operating costs, all the software and tools you use. The little slice that's left over at the end of all that, that's your net income. That's what you actually get to keep.
Okay, so we've built the machine, we understand the numbers, we know the costs. For our last section, let's talk about making it last. How do you make sure this thing is still running smoothly years from now? It all comes down to taking care of it. And there are 4 keys to this. First, a reliable content cadence. Your members need to know when to expect value from you. It builds trust. Second, you have to actively encourage community engagement. This is the glue. It's what makes people feel like they belong. Third, your value has to evolve. What's valuable today might not be in a year. You have to keep making it better. And finally, you need a feedback loop. You have to listen to your members. They'll tell you exactly what you need to do to keep them happy.
But if you had to boil all of that down to just one single thing, it would be this. The ultimate key, the secret to a business that lasts forever, is delivering value to your members continuously and predictably. That's it. If they always feel like they're getting more than what they pay for, why would they ever leave? So there it is, the 2 levers, community and price. The financial models, the costs, and the keys to making it all last. The blueprint is all here. It's in your hands now. So the only question left to ask is, what will you build?